BookTube, it's Becky from Becky Writes. This is Becky Reads, and this is a personal 24-hour readathon. Now, there have been several unofficial personal 24-hour readathons that have happened over the last, 6 weeks or so, and I decided I wanted to get on that bandwagon. I wasn't able to do BookTubeathon, and so I thought, you know, why don't I just arbitrarily create my own 24-hour readathon, read as much as I can in 24 hours, and see if I can get through some of the books that would have been on my BookTubeathon if I could have participated fully. So that's what I'm going to do. It is currently 12:21 on Saturday morning, the 29th of July. I am going to actually start my readathon at 10 a.m. so in 9.5 hours, because I am a grandmother and I need sleep, and I know that I'm not going to want to stay up and try to push through reading. I wanted to do a little bit of a TBR before I went to bed. As you can see, I have wet hair and no makeup on, because I am going to go to bed and wake up and start my readathon. My goal for this readathon is to, read as much as I can. Realistically, I do have to do adult things and get stuff done, but there's a few books I want to specifically get through. The first one is I want to finish Sophia Khan Is Not Obliged by Aisha Malik. I've started this in May, I think, and I haven't finished. I, as of this readathon beginning, am on page 130, and there are 455 pages in here, so I have quite a lot of progress that I can make in this one. So my goal is to finish this one during my 24-hour readathon. I am halfway through The Doll's House by Neil Gaiman. This is volume 2 of the Sandman series, and I definitely want to finish this one. And ideally, I'd like to get through Dream Country. This is volume 3 of the Sandman series by Neil Gaiman. The final book that I definitely want to make strides to get through for this readathon is Born to Run. I don't know if you guys can see that because of the lighting, but this is the memoir by Bruce Springsteen. It is really long. It's 18 hours on audiobook, and I'm going to listen to it at 1.5 speed, so I think it'll be 12 hours. I would like to get through as much, if not finish, this audiobook as possible. So that is my tentative TBR. I have a lot of things I have to do. I need to go and do some exchanges, and I have to bake a bunch of banana bread, and I have to do a ton of laundry and cleaning up around the house, but that's why I have an audiobook. Good morning, BookTube! It is Brecky, and this is the official beginning of my 24-hour personal readathon. It is currently 10 a.m. East Coast time on Saturday, July 29th, and I am going to begin my readathon. I look a super hot mess, which is fine because I am going to be cleaning my messy house and doing some baking and a little bit of running around. I am going to start the Bruce Springsteen audiobook that I talked about and listen to that while I start cleaning. So I will check in with you all in a few hours. Hopefully I will look a little bit better, my kitchen will look a little bit better, and we'll have made some progress. Hey guys, it is currently 12:15 in the afternoon on my personal 24-hour readathon, so just not quite 2.5 hours in. I've currently read to chapter 14 in the Bruce Springsteen audiobook. It's really good. I'm listening to it on 1.5 time. Audible doesn't give you 1.75, which I think would be the perfect speed, but this has been really enjoyable so far. I had some downloading mishaps, which were super annoying, but we got it downloaded. So I've been able to get through quite a lot of this. My goal is to get as close to finish as possible. Now, listening to it on 1.5 speed means it will be 12 hours long, and so I have currently finished 2.5 hours of that. So we will see if I get through it. I just got back from doing my morning grocery shopping and running around and things like that. So I am going to eat a few things. I might make some bacon. I recently started eating meat again when I moved to West Virginia because being a vegetarian here was going to be way too hard. So I've rediscovered the joy of bacon. I also have some coffee, and I splurged and got some Pringles as my readathon snack. So I will probably eat a little something and keep listening to this audiobook. I need to bake banana bread as a thank you gift for all the families that have helped me move in over the last couple of weeks. So that is one of my goals for today. So Bruce Springsteen, and then maybe some Neil Gaiman, and hopefully tonight I will curl up with Sophia Khan Is Not Obliged. So that's where I'm at. Bacon. Hey guys, it's just after 2 o'clock on my personal 24-hour readathon, and like I said, it's 2:05. I have just put 2 loaves of banana bread in the oven. As you can see, I have on a fabulous new apron that I got because the apron that I own is still on a truck somewhere that is not West Virginia. I am now almost done with chapter 19, so I think there's 82 chapters in the Bruce Springsteen memoir, so just about a third-ish of the way through, a quarter, I guess more of a quarter, towards a quarter of the way through, and making good progress on that. I have a couple friends who are going to come over for a little bit, so we're going to do a little bit of hangout, and after that is done, I'm either going to go back to the audiobook or read some Neil Gaiman and get some Sandman comics in. Yeah, so I'm making some good progress. I have had 2 cups of coffee so far today. I splurged and bought a new French press because I was desperate for coffee. So here is my coffee mug and my second cup of coffee for the readathon. Feeling good about it, feeling excited, getting a lot of work around my house done. This is why I love audiobooks. So I will check in when I get a little bit more done. Hey guys, I am checking in again. I have just finished baking 2 loaves of banana bread as a part of my 24-hour personal readathon, and let's see, it is exactly 3:25 in the afternoon, so we are, what is that, like 5.5 hours in if I started at 10 a.m. this morning. I am 24 chapters into the Bruce Springsteen memoir, so I'm just over halfway, which is great. I'm going to take a break from that and go read some graphic novels, at least The Doll's House, and then maybe Volume 3, The Dream Country. So those are the 2 things I'm going to try to read. I have a lot more stuff to do. I have laundry to do. I actually need to bake 2 more loaves of banana bread. These are gifts for friends in my community. Now I am going to cuddle up and sit down, take off my apron, and read some graphic novels. Hey everyone, it is currently 5:16 p.m. on my 24-hour readathon, and I finished my first book, and that was The Doll's House, the second installment of the Sandman series by Neil Gaiman. This was much darker than the first one, and the first one was pretty dark, but this one was downright grim at times, and yet really compelling. The last like 5 pages had this whole conversation about life and dreaming and waking up and things that tied the whole thing together and was incredible. I loved it. This is like a 4.5 to 5 stars. I'm gonna let it simmer as I figure out what I think the rating is, but I really, really enjoyed it. I don't know if I'm gonna jump right into the next one because it was a little bit dark and grim. I think I need to make my next batch of banana bread and do some more laundry since I have just sat down for the last like hour and a half and finished this. I only had about 25 pages of this read, and this is like close to 150 pages, I think, so made some good progress, and I'm excited to jump into the next one, hopefully sometime tonight. We'll see if I get to it. Hey guys, it is currently 8:43, and I just finished my second book, and that was the 3rd volume of Sandman, Dream Country. This is by Neil Gaiman, and I really liked this. This was really weird. In this one, the Sandman character is kind of a minor character. It isn't really about him at all. It's kind of this interlude. So I now really want to jump into the 4th installment, Season of Mists, because this really felt like almost like a teaser, like a break. You know how in the X-Files there's the overarching story and then there are the sort of one-offs? That's what this felt like. It felt like a whole bunch of really random one-offs. Maybe they'll reconnect later, I'm not really sure. I liked it. This was more of a 3.5 stars rather than a 4 or 5 star read for me because it was so disconnected. They were interesting stories, but I didn't love this one as much as others. I did read this completely outside, and I read it all in one day, so I've completed 2 of the Booktubeathon challenges, and there are faces. So 3 Booktubeathon challenges in one reading thing, which is great because I wanted to participate in Booktubeathon and I didn't get a chance to. So finished this. This is my second completed book for my personal book readathon thing that I'm doing. I'm getting tired. I have made another cup of coffee, and I think I'm gonna take a shower and read a little bit more of the Springsteen book. I'd like to get through another couple hours tonight so I can finish the rest of it in the morning, and then I want to curl up with Sophia Khan Is Not Obliged and see if I can finish that. Hey guys, it is currently 10:57, so you guys can see. I don't know if you can make out my clock. It's 10:57, almost 11 o'clock here here, and so we are almost 13 hours into the readathon, just over halfway, and I'm getting a little sleepy. I'm going to try to push through for a few more hours. I was going to go upstairs and read some Sophia Khan is Not Obliged, but I'm not sure I'm going to do that. I got through only another like half an hour of the audiobook, and then my friend Mary called me. So I took a shower, talked to Mary, got through half an hour of the audiobook. I do have a cup of coffee, and I know I'm not going to stay up all night. Like I said, I have church and some hiking tomorrow, but I'm just not sure. I still feel like not completely exhausted. Like I still want to keep reading. I just don't know what I want to read. I know I'm not going to finish any books tonight. I mean, I could probably finish this one. And maybe I could get through the Bruce Springsteen. I have 5 hours and 45 minutes left, which I could do if I don't sleep, but I would like to sleep. So I don't know if I will finish it tonight, but I might make some really, really good progress. Hey, so it is, almost 1 a.m. and I am really fading. I decided to try to push through the let's try that again. I decided to try and push through the Bruce Springsteen audiobook, and I've got to page. I don't know. It's an audiobook. I got to chapter 51, and I have 3 hours and 50 minutes left. And I'm beginning to fall asleep, so I think I'm gonna go to bed and sleep until 7, which is my normal wake up time. That gives me 3 hours. So if I go to bed now and I get up at 7, I won't finish it, but I'll get really close. But I also might get up and read some of this. I don't really know. But I'm tired. And it's been really good, but I'm tired. And I'm not tracking everything, and I want to, pay attention to what I'm reading. So I think it's been really good so far. 15 hours in or something. I don't know. But it's 1 in the morning, and I'm tired as balls. And I don't want to drink any more coffee because I've had 3 cups of coffee today, which is a lot more than I normally drink. And it's like stronger coffee. And so it's kind of giving me a stomach ache, so I'm going to turn off my light and go to bed and get up and see what I want to do in the morning. 7:18, and that was one of my 2, secondary snooze wake-up alarms, and I am now less than 3 hours to the end of my personal 24-hour readathon. I slept from just after 1 until about 7, so about 6 hours, and I'm gonna get up. I think I'm gonna press through with Bruce Springsteen. I don't think I can finish before the readathon ends, but that's okay. I wanna make progress, and I can listen to that while I make some breakfast. So here, that's my second hey, don't go back to sleep alarm, because I'm really terrible about that. Because who isn't really terrible about that? Okay. Gotta get up. Hey guys, it is currently 10 a.m. and I have come to the end of my 24-hour readathon, and it has been really well. I am just shy of 2 hours short of finishing the Bruce Springsteen audiobook. So I've gotten through probably 420 pages or so of this audiobook, which I think is great, and I will finish that today, which is fantastic. I did not end up reading any of Seasons of Mist. I just got so tired last night that was just beyond what I could do. I painted my nails and went to bed. But I did finish Doll's House, the second installment of the Sandman series by Neil Gaiman, and I did also finish Dream Country, the third installment of a Sandman series by Neil Gaiman. So I finished 2 books. I am very nearly finished with the audiobook. I will definitely finish that today, and hopefully before the end of July I'll get to the Season of Mists. So I had read the first 20 pages of A Doll's House, so I read 212 pages of that. I read all of the 160 pages of Dream Country, and I've read just over 400-ish pages of Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen, which brings me to about 822-ish pages. It's hard to tell with an audiobook. So I'm pretty proud of that. 822 pages, and a lot of that was an audiobook because I had house things to do. I did like 4 loads of laundry. I baked 4 loaves of banana bread. I put up some curtains in my house. Like, I'm pretty proud of that, especially since I've been in a massive reading slump for the last several weeks as I've transitioned from California to West Virginia. I enjoy the Neil Gaiman stuff. I don't know if I mentioned this last night, but this one feels more like a prelude or like a intermission between the rest of the story. It doesn't feature the Sandman very heavily. It features a lot of side characters, which maybe isn't a bad thing. So I didn't love that one as much. I gave it 3.5, but I gave 4.5 stars to The Doll's House, which I thought was a really fantastic, dark adult comic. And since reading comics, particularly reading adult comics, is something that I am only getting into over the last year or so, this has been really enjoyable and rewarding. I am loving Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen. His gravelly voice, his honesty, and just the poetry with which he writes is super fantastic. So I am so glad I spent so much of yesterday reading it. So 2 books completed, 1 almost completed that I'll finish today. I think for my very first ever 24-hour readathon that I did a great job, especially since I didn't try to actually stay awake for 24 hours. I got about 6 hours of sleep, which is rad. I feel good about it. I feel really confident in what I've accomplished, and I really, really enjoyed it. I might do this again. I might do this in a couple of weeks and just give myself another 24 hours, pick an audiobook, pick a couple of books I want to finish, and give myself one of these. I liked it. I really, really did. I'm so glad that Read by Zoe did a personal one that encouraged me to like make my own up, so thank you to her. Thank you to all of you who have followed me on Twitter and were supportive, particularly Krista Lynn, who I know loves some Bruce Springsteen. Ugh, I love the boss. I do. I love him even more now. It was nice to give myself permission to read. I feel like having moved, I haven't given myself permission to just sit and read. Like, I feel like I have too much other important unpacking job-related stuff, so reading has been hard. I also have some anxiety, and part of my anxiety cripples me in reading and being creative. I want to do a whole video about that later, but this was a great like excuse and a great reason to just sit down, do some reading, enjoy the books that I have, because I've got great books. Most of my books are on boxes, on a truck, far away from me, in some other distant state, because it's not at my house yet, but eventually I'll get my books back. And yeah, it's been good. It's been good. Oh, and I was going to try to get through as many of the BookTubeathon reading challenges, and I got through a couple. One of them is to read a book with a face on it, and there are faces on this one, and also on A Doll's House, and actually on Born to Run. He is a picture of Bruce Springsteen. So there's all 3 of the books that I completed. Oh, that's upside down. Had people on them. And then it was to read a book totally outside, and I read Dream Country totally outside. Also to read a book in one day, I read Dream Country totally in one day. And to read a book about someone totally different than you. I mean, the comics could count, but Born to Run is about someone who grew up in a working class family in New Jersey. I mean, Bruce Springsteen, totally blue collar. Now he's a super famous person. Totally different than my life. I grew up lower middle class with a professor father, so a very different environment, and I'm totally not famous. So like very, very different in a lot of ways. And also generationally very different. He was born in like 1950, I think. So I will count that. I don't have a cover by because I have literally had 1 cover by or 2 in the last year, and I've already read them. So even if I had my books here, I wouldn't have one that counts. And I haven't read 7 books. What's the other one? Oh, one that's super hyped. I didn't read a super hyped book unless the Sandman series counts, because it's pretty hyped, but not really on BookTube. It's more of a cult classic. I don't know. So I got 3 of the 7. I'm proud of that, considering I didn't officially participate in BookTubeathon, and I kind of unofficially participated with my 24-hour readathon. So yeah, almost half, and I feel good about that. All right, y'all, this has been a great experience. I am so glad that I did a 24-hour readathon. Thank you for joining me, those of you who chatted with me a little bit on Twitter. I think I'm gonna do this again, maybe in September. So if you're interested, I think setting your own personal 24-hour readathon, especially if you've been in a reading slump, is a great thing. You go at your own pace, you're not having to worry about playing by anyone's rules. You just give yourself permission to read as much as you want of what you want for 24 hours. It's great. Hope you guys are all doing well, and I will definitely talk to you soon. Bye!